Hello everyone, and today I am going to do a little ranking video. So this is basically the MCU Phase 1 movie ranking from least favourite to top favourite. And yes, I was planning to do the whole tons of movies on them because since Thor and Thunders came out, the films and the shows all coming together, I thought it's too long. I just thought why not separate them into Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 and Phase 4. I might say Phase 4 maybe later on in the year, maybe when Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out, and I'll do it there at some point, who knows. But that being said, let's do a bit of ranking video. And of course guys, this is just my opinion, and this is just my own personal taste. If yours is different, that is fine. I am more welcome to open more opinions and also debates, but guys know this is just my opinion. If you disagree, that's more than welcome to. So we'll start with Phase 1. This is the very first ones from the MCU that started it all, from Iron Man to the Avengers. So let's just get into the ones that my personal favourite is the least favourite to the top favourite. So let's begin. Okay, coming at number 6, it is The Incredible Hulk. Yeah, I am not a fan of this movie. This film is pretty bland, forgettable. I will say the most part, the Abomination and the Hulk fight scenes are really entertaining. The campus fight scenes are enjoyable for the most part, and the CGI does hold up in certain cases, but most of it does feel a little bit, yeah, it's just there. The acting was fine. You know, I think everyone did their best. Tim Roth, who plays the Abomination, and Neil Blonsky, he was great. I really liked him. His performance was really good. Lively Taylor, is it? Lively Taylor as Betty Ross. She was fine. She didn't get much to do. William Hurt, rest in peace. He was great. I really enjoyed him. Edward Norton, he was okay as Bruce Banner, but I just don't buy him as Bruce Banner. I prefer Mark Ruffalo. Yep, I said it, come at me. Yeah, this film, I didn't really care for this movie. It's bland. It's forgettable. I didn't really care for it. It's just a simple, even after the release of Iron Man, this came out the month after that. Yeah, it was alright. It's not terrible, not the worst, but I just didn't care for it. Yeah, so that's why it's at number 6. Coming at number 5, definitely got a lot more better on recent viewings. Iron Man 2. Now, this was my least favourite in the MCU in general, but then after Endgame, and I've started to say, you know what, maybe I'll watch it again. And so far I've come around to it. It's definitely one of the better ones now. I think it's starting to become appreciated. It is the weakest in the trilogy, but I will say it's definitely a lot better than I remembered it. I think, yes, I was a little negative towards it, but it's definitely not as bad as everyone's saying or claiming now. But I do get that some people may not don't like it, but that's fine. That's everyone's personal taste. But I think Iron Man 2 is a definitely decent sequel. There are some enjoyable aspects in it. The Whiplash and Tony fighting in the race course thing, wherever it is in South America, or Rio, I think it was. But yeah, that was entertaining for the most part. I thought that was really good. I thought that was really enjoyable for the most part. Robert Downey Jr. continues to play Tony Stark. He could play in his sleep. And of course you got James Rose, played by Don Cheadle's Terrence Howard from the first movie. He's a good addition. His character though, not too much on it. Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah, she's fine. She does get the job done. And of course, Natasha Romanoff, Scarlett Johansson, a great addition. Definitely a lot of flaws with this film. Too much characters, too many stuff going on at once. And of course, the setting up the Avengers definitely feels that way. But I would say it's not as bad as everyone's saying it is. It's definitely a lot better on more watches now after Endgame. It definitely made it more improvement. So that's why it's at number 5, Iron Man 2. Coming at number 4, Captain America, the First Avenger. Definitely one of the most underrated, underappreciated, definitely overlooked. I know many people look at the sequels like The Winter Soldier and Civil War, but this one has to be the best one they've done. I think this is the most underrated one. Great origin story. Yes, the second act does feel a bit rushed after he gets the suit and shield. It does feel like it's a montage just to get to the point of him getting to the Avengers. But since after Endgame, like Iron Man 2, it definitely got a little bit better. It definitely looks back upon. I think many people now are looking back on it and they're come to around to it, a little appreciation a lot more now. So it does make me appreciate a lot more. Chris Evans, when he first been cast, it was an odd choice, but since now, this film has become a fan favourite. There's so many great scenes. Peggy Carter's in this film. Hey, well, what can I say? Red Skull, awesome. Love Red Skull. Great villain. His motivation is pretty simple, straightforward, but Hugo Weaving does give a great performance. And I will say it's a pretty good movie. Definitely a lot better than I remember that I was giving it for. I'm glad I supported this one when it first came out. And definitely the weakest in the trilogy, but I still think it's overlooked and underrated. So definitely a great film. So that's why it's number 4, Captain America, the first Avenger. Coming at number 3, Thor, the first movie. This one, I remember I did say I liked it, but there are things in there I wish they could have done better. I would say for the most part, I would enjoy it a lot more now, since now the new Thor's coming out. I think this may be looking back on it since past 10 years. This film is a lot better now. I think it's a lot more enjoyable. I think the story is a great fish out of water story. Chris Hemsworth is charming as Thor and also arrogant as well to bring that character to life. Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Anthony Hopkins, Idris Elba, many more cast in this film. This movie is probably the best one they've done so far. I think this is the top favourite. Even though people say prefer Thor Ragnarok, but Thor Ragnarok is good. Same goes to Thor Love and Thunder, but the first Thor is something. This is a really great movie, and it's definitely a lot more better than it deserves. So the first Thor movie is a classic. I would say is probably the best one they've done. I love the sequel, Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, but this one needs more talk about. That's why it's at number 3. Coming at number 2, second place, Iron Man, the first one. The movie, star it all, Robert Downey Jr. This film is a classic. This film is basically everything I wanted. It's a great origin story. This is definitely up there with Spider-Man and Batman Begins as one of the best origin stories and probably the best start of the MCU. I know many people now it's a little bit dated at times, but I want to say the effect still holds up and the acting all around is great. Robert Downey Jr. made this film because when he was cast, everyone's like, oh, after what he did, after he went to prison. But no, he pushed him back up. After this movie release, it pushed his career up again, so it made him a lot more appreciation. So thankfully, Robert Downey Jr. does get more chance to do after Iron Man. So this is a film that I'll always remember. Every time I watch it, it does get better each view. It makes me appreciate the movie a lot more. And looking back on the start, it's just a film I'll never forget. So Iron Man, what a classic. This film is a classic. And at number 1, The Avengers. It's obvious this is the number 1 movie in Phase 1. This is the movie after 4 years in the making, 5 movies in, leading up to this moment. This is a classic movie. This came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago when this film came out in cinemas. I remember seeing it. I was about 17, pushing up 18. I was still in high school. This film was just amazing to watch. This film is a classic. This film is going to be probably up there as one of the best superhero films ever made. This is a classic movie. I love this film. I will adore it. Everything about it. Joss Whedon's direction is amazing, even though despite what's going on with him, with the whole Justice League, that to the side, but you gotta think about this as a triumph. This is a movie that Marvel made it on its own. What a brilliant movie. This is a classic, instant classic. Even though I love Endgame is my all-time favorite in the MCU, but this one will always remembered as a classic. The characters interacting with one another is amazing. The banter about all of them is great. The humor's there, the heart. There's a lot of passion going into this movie. There is a lot of things going into this movie. This is great. You can say the story is paper thin for the most part. Yes, true, but despite that you think of the story or what you think of the whole plot, but I think this film does its job, it does its justice, and will go down as a classic. I think now it's a classic. I'm going to say now this is an instant classic. Really enjoy the Avengers, and honestly, I will always look back on it as nostalgia factor. This film is great. I love this film. And that is Phase 1 ranking. And I will do Phase 2 some point in the future. And guys, it's up to you now. Comment down below and tell me, what is your rank in Phase 1? What's your least favourite? What's your top favourite? Do you have a favourite moment? Or what's your favourite scene? Or do you have a favourite character? Let me know in the comments down below. And also be civil in the comments. And I'll see you guys in Phase 2 ranking soon, next week or so. So I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, hit the like button. And also comment down below and tell me your thoughts or talk to me at any time and I'll try to reply back. And of course, share this video with your friends, family or anyone you know. And of course, if you like my channel, hit that subscribe button and hit the icon bell for more notifications for more of my videos. And of course guys, until next time, I'll see you guys real soon. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.